Hey guys, Kory here. Thanks for checking out my channel again. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna say if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel by clicking that button. And also while I'm at it, if you want to see the new videos as they come out fresh off the press, hit the bell button down there. You'll see that over there. And once I cut a new video and upload it, immediately you'll get a notification. It's pretty sweet. I'm super excited today because I'm not going to talk about necessarily personal development, but I'm going to talk tactics. And so, in some of my videos, I'll probably talk strategy. Some of my videos, I'm going to talk tactically. And some of my videos, I'm just going to talk ridiculously or ramblingly. I don't even know if that's a word. But again, thanks for tuning in. Specifically today, though, I'm going to talk about finding housing before you move to a remote island. Okay? That's the name of my video. Finding housing before moving to a remote island. And I have experience with this because I lived on Maui, as you can see, and love the Hawaiian culture. Mahalo, aloha. It's awesome. But I think one of the biggest challenges that people face, and probably the reason they never overcome their dream or goal of actually moving to an island, or say, I'm going to use Maui for this video, is that they don't know how to find a place to live. Okay, maybe they have a dog. I had a dog, so I needed to find a place to live with a dog. That's tough when you're renting a place, right? And you will be renting a place because nobody moves to an island and immediately buys a house. I don't think, but maybe they do. So I was actually going to get into the real estate market in Maui, and I was rudely awakened. But that's another video that I'm going to talk about, and I will link to that, which is the Maui real estate market. Pros and cons to that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it here quickly too, because obviously if you're going to move to Maui or you're going to move to an island, and maybe this is a short-term thing, but it's probably going to be a long-term thing, you're eventually maybe going to buy a house or a condo or whatever. I found in oceanside communities that condos are a lot more prevalent than and available in terms of what's on the market than a house is, for different reasons. But yeah, and so a condo might be one route you're going if you're going to look for even temporary housing, because a lot of people buy housing on an island thinking they're going to be there forever, and they don't. So they get in a situation where they end up having to rent it out. So there's just a lot of higher availability. So here's an interesting thing though about the islands, and maybe you're looking for housing. You're like, man, why is this so cheap? Well, first of all, if you don't know anybody personally, they're not exactly going to give you the best discount, right? In Hawaii, if you know locals and know some people around town, you're going to figure out quickly where the deals are, where the good housing is, where the bad housing is, and where the safe housing is and unsafe housing is. I always look for safe stuff, afford as safe as you can get, right? Like, basically, this is how the world works and society works. It is a class society. Like, people who either don't want to pay a lot for housing or cannot afford to pay a lot for housing, you could particularly be vulnerable to security and safety issues. Maybe that's because there's a lot of people there. I don't know, but so is Maui safe? Yes, Maui is a very safe community. It's probably safer than my community here in the Midwest, actually. The types of crimes that happen there compared to what happens here is completely different. There's violent crimes and death, murder, suicide that happens where I live, but not so much of that in Maui. But if there is, you'll hear about it. Back to my story about housing, you're definitely going to want to search either maybe on Craigslist. So I found my first place on Craigslist, and it was right on the ocean. It was super awesome. It was an old school 1900s original Hawaiian mansion. And my neighbors and my roommate, I had a roommate at first, were very awesome. They were awesome people. Super nice, super chill. Originally from the West Coast, so the mainland, and they were really cool people. But it was funny. I actually did some. I had my bank do some checks on my roommate to see about her credit and things like that, to make sure like I was legitimately actually going to have a place to stay, because I could just look her up on Google Maps and a satellite, but I don't know that I'm actually going to have a place to stay here, right? So I was a little worried about that, but we made the transaction, the down payment, and it all worked out in the end, and I had a great roommate, and we had lots of fun together. But and I had a good price too, good price, but it's expensive. If you're living on an island, everything is shipped in. Everything. You want gas, it's shipped in. You want a Snickers bar, it's shipped in. You want a 25-pound dumbbell, it's shipped in. I did ship, so yeah, no, I'm not going to get into shipping. Housing. Look ahead of time before you move. Try and rent something that's maybe short term, just in case things don't work out. It could be a good idea. Or rent something knowing that later you're going to upgrade, because you don't really know what you don't know until you're there and living in the culture and meet people, and maybe you'll meet somebody that's like, hey, I have a great deal on housing, and you have a coworker that's like, oh yeah, this person just moved out or whatever next door, and they're looking. That's word of mouth is a great way to find housing on an island. Craigslist, use the avenues that are available to you. Research. Don't go in flying blind. Trust but verify. Verify these people. Like, usually, I'm not going to say go off simply your gut instinct, but if your gut instinct is telling you this doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. And keep looking for a different place. In terms of pricing on Maui and other islands, it's very expensive. I was paying about $2,400 a month for maybe 700 square foot 3-bedroom. Granted, not a lot of people had a 3-bedroom that I knew. Maybe a lot of people had 2 bedrooms. But I needed a 3-bedroom, so I paid a lot of money, over 30 grand a year in housing for a year. Of housing, that's a lot of money. So if you're used to that, though, not a big thing. If you want like a 4,000 square foot house in Maui, you're gonna pay anywhere from $4,500 to $6,000 a month probably for that size of a house. But if you want a condo or a roommate, you can get down into the $8,000 to $1,200 range. But you're not going to be on the beach for that price. If you want to be on the beach, you're looking at maybe $1,500 to $2,000, in possibly a roommate situation to be on the beach. Everybody wants to be on the beach, of course. And there's pros and cons to living on the beach too. Salt can eat and corrode your stuff, TVs, cars, electronics. It does happen. It's a real thing, because I know it happened to me. I lived on the beach, and I had to wax my vehicle like twice a week, and wash it constantly, because it was caked with salt from the air just blowing the salt, because you're literally on the beach, right? So pay attention to your surroundings, know your commute. If there's an active volcano or potential mudslide prones, or power outages that happen a lot, be cognizant of that stuff. High-speed internet, if you're on the grid and you're in an island, you might actually be off the grid. You gotta check if there's internet availability, and the water sources are healthy. And do your homework, do your research, make a whole long list of things that are Google. I'm gonna make more videos on this, but probably not too much more on moving to Maui. Finding housing on Maui, except that, if you want to find a good realtor that's been there a while, and, it's a different market on an island, but prices are expensive too. But you know, like anything, if you do your research, I've got contacts in Maui, so if you want information or have any other questions, please leave them in the comment box below. I will personally get back to you because I want to help you guys get through your fears in the process of you're thinking of moving there, or maybe you got a job there. It was amazing. I don't know how many times I pointed in this video this far, but I'm gonna point to getting a job on Maui, and I'm gonna make a video on that because my wife and I, she was we were married at the time. We both had to find jobs to be able to afford a $30,000 a month house. I had lots of savings, but I wasn't gonna blow it all on that. So we did work while we were there. My wife didn't have to work, but she actually got bored and ended up wanting to work. So we bought her a car, and she helped. She did some great work. I'm not gonna get into it. She helped a boy with autism, and great job. So, but housing, you know. So the thing is, there is not a lot of space on an island, and of course, everybody wants to be. If you look at it from a cruise ship or a boat coming into the island, you'll see that everybody wants to be on the coast. The houses are all along the coast. You know, there's little villages and cities along the coast because, of course, that's where the sun sets, and those are the prime spots. So space is at a premium. A lot of people have an ohana and a back house, which means like it's a guest house, you know. So the main house and the guest house, and you might have a neighbor right next to you, like in the back, that's gonna, you know, you gotta share parking with or whatever. A lot of places in Maui you have to share parking. You're probably maybe not even gonna get covered parking because it's an island and it's, you know, it rains a little bit, but that's about it. So you know, you might not get covered parking. What else? You know, roommates. You know, do a Skype no matter what. Do your homework to make sure you're getting a legit place. If you want to get into real estate, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of trusts going on with property. A lot of 1039 exchanges going on islands. Some people that have owned this stuff for years. In Maui specifically, there's like a 99-year lease term that you would want to be interested in looking at if you wanted to buy a property. Or if you rent, you might want to know, and you're hoping to rent long term, if that lease is ever going to expire soon, that your landlord might switch over and you might be out of a place to stay, right? As a landlord, I know that buying and selling and flipping a property means that oftentimes you might have to get a new tenant. So that means the tenant that's living there is out of a house, basically. So, what else about moving, housing on Maui? Landlords, you know, just like that landlord would do a check on you, you should do a check on them, of course. Real estate agents, you know, make sure they have their licenses and everything. Neighborhoods that are safe. You know, I'm not going to call specific neighborhoods, but every neighborhood is going to give you a little different something or other. But in Maui, a lot of transplants come in and out of Maui specifically, so maybe your neighbor will be there 1 minute and gone the next with all their stuff, and you didn't even realize it. But yeah, I don't know. I did move to Maui. I had to get a house. We had to furnish our stuff. So you're like, should I get a lot of houses on the island do come furnished. Shipping your stuff, I would suggest personally. I'm like a minimalist. If I haven't linked to a video, like living minimally and simply. And some people will call it feng shui or whatever. I brought the least amount of stuff that I needed, which was funny because it was like the weirdest thing ever. Like a screwdriver and like elastic bands for working out. You know, just like weird basketball, weird stuff. But I got 30 seconds to wrap this up. Don't ship your whole house and the kitchen sink over there. Be kind to the island and the environment and the process of actually getting over there. And like, don't bring everything. Just leave your shit behind. Nobody wants it over there. If you need a vehicle, it's a separate topic. But yeah, if you like this video, guys, and you want to hear more, Leave me some comments in the bottom. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the video. And I appreciate everything. You guys have a great night. Aloha, mahalo.